So how's it going? I've been wanting to do a video on my car for the longest time, and now I think it's a time to do it because I'm looking to get rid of it. I'm gonna say goodbye to my M3. It's time to move on, let somebody else enjoy it, and this will open up a lot more opportunities for me and the Tacoma, because that's mainly, the Tacoma's my daily now, and I really don't drive the M3 as much as I used to, so I think it's time to get rid of it. Anyways, here is my M3. There she is, right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys around, show you some of the features my car has. So here is my 2009 BMW M3 I guess E93, because it is a convertible. And the reason I got this car, it's been, this has been a dream car for me for a long time. And the reason I got this model is because it has the naturally aspirated V8 engine, and that's what I wanted. This car is amazing. It's a beast, and to be honest, it's a little too much almost at times. It's really unpractical. When you have the top down, you really can't store anything in the trunk of the car, and it's just, it's a good daily. It's okay. You can use it as a daily, but I really don't drive it every day. And so that's the reason why I want to get rid of it, and because I have the truck now, and if I get rid of this, that'll open up a lot more opportunities for the Tacoma. So let me show you around. So here's my M3. So I'll show you a little bit around the car, and so like I said, I really haven't been driving it much, so that's why I'm deciding to get rid of it. But this car is amazing. It's gonna be so hard to say goodbye, but it needs to be done. Cars come and go, and this is one of my dream cars. So I'm just glad I've had the opportunity to own one, drive one, and so now my life is somewhat complete. But yeah, this car has been a long time favorite ever since I saw these like in high school and college. I did want a little bit of a newer one, but this is, like I said, this is a 2009 BMW M3 convertible. Currently the car has 34,000 miles. I bought it with 26, so I really haven't driven it much. So yeah, one of the things that when I first got the car is that I guess I always thought this was connected, but if you see closely, these mirrors fold in, and it's not connected, as you can see right there. I guess the impracticability of it is when the top is down, you can see that there's no room for anything back here. There is a little bit of room. You can put a little bit of stuff under here. I'm not sure if you can see that or not, but yeah, when the top is down, there's really no room for anything back here. So as you just saw, this car does have the feature to put the top down with the key fob, but it's not recommended to do it often because it does drain the battery. And another thing with the battery, speaking of the battery, there's terminals in the hood to jump start it, but the battery is in the trunk, and I'll have to put the top up to show you where it's at. I haven't even seen it, and I really don't want to replace it because it seems like it'll be a lot of work. So one of the main reasons why I wanted this particular model, the E90 series, was because the naturally aspirated V8 engine. This is a V8, I believe 4.0, and I've seen 414, 415, I think 414 horsepower, and I've also seen 420. So yeah, so about 420 horsepower that this engine produces. Yeah, one of the cool things is that there's 2 vents on the hood. Let me show you the other side. There's 2 vents on the hood right there, and as you can see here, one of them is functional. It actually goes into the air intake right there, and the other one's just for display, just to make it even. The side, I guess these side intakes are not functional. However, I believe on, what was it, 2004, the E46 series, they actually were functional, and they just kept them just to, you know, that's just I guess a trait of the M3s, and they're no longer functional. Another thing that I think is pretty interesting is most cars that I own only have 1 hood latch, but this one does have 2, one on that side and one on this side. And then the one in the center is just a quick release, or once you unlatch these 2, this is just that safety feature that keeps it hood closed. One thing is this car is really meant for for 2 people. It does have 4 seats when you do need to take somebody for a ride, or maybe take a couple people for a ride, but once they're back here, there's really no room, no leg space. It's really hard to get in and out when the top is down, and it's if you're a little bit taller, it's not really fun to sit back there. But yeah, it does have 4 seats, obviously. So let me show you a little bit of the features it has on the inside. Okay, so this is me sitting inside the car. Let me see, I'm trying to think of anything that's worth noting. So we got the paddle shifters. You got up and down. I guess one thing is you also have the M button, which is programmable. Some of the things you can program are the power setting, the electronic damping control. Speaking of the power control, you got the power button, which I think just gives it more gas to the throttle. So I've noticed once you push this button, let's say you're in 2nd gear at like 2000 RPM, as soon as you push this button, it'll jump up to like 3000 RPM without even giving it more gas to the pedal. You got the electronic damping control. You got I guess 3 modes, with it off, or I guess the most, not off, but maybe like comfort mode. And then once you push the button once, it'll get a little bit stiffer. Push it again, it'll be the stiffest. And then you push it one more time, both these lights will go off. And then you got stability control. This does have the dual clutch transmission. There is no park. You know, you got reverse, neutral, and then I guess you can put it in a automatic mode, or it goes to default is the manual mode, the stick shift mode. So it feels exactly like a manual transmission when you're driving in it. And for example, if you don't give it gas, the clutch is not engaged and the car won't go anywhere. It's not until you actually give the car gas that the clutch engages and you start moving. As well as I don't know what this button is called, but what it does is it adjusts the timing of the transmission. So if you're towards the lower end, the timing of the transmission is very how can you say, like, economical. You know, if you give it gas, it won't just drop gears. It'll kind of stay in that gear, and then once you put it to the higher setting, and as soon as you push this gas a little bit, it'll drop to the lowest gear and just start going, and then kind of stay in that gear for a little while. Like for example, if you're on the track and you need to drop gears, it'll stay in that gear, so as soon as you're ready to just give it gas again, you'll already be in the lowest gear possible. So that's some pretty cool features. I play with this a lot, you know. And then the manual mode, that's a lot of fun. Of course, you got the typical BMW, I guess this is your interface to control the display, and then you got the button for the top to go up and down. But other than that, there's not too, I mean, those are the key features of, I guess, the M3. I'm trying to think of anything else. This one does have the premium package for the audio system, which I heard the standard audio system is really not that good, so I'm glad I got that. It does sound pretty good. I haven't heard the standard one, but this is a premium, and I think that's the way to go. Other than that, you know, you got the M logo on the back, the headrest. You know, you got an adjustable arm control, or armrest that you can move back and forth, which I didn't know about, and it's pretty handy. I usually have it in this position. What else? Just a little bit of storage. You know, you got your auxiliary in, USB in. This car does have a built-in radar detector, which is pretty cool. I did not put it in, it came with the car. And so here are the buttons for the radar, and then here in the mirror you can't really see, but I guess here in the mirror you can't see right now, that's where it has the display. And let me show you where the actual radar sensor is. And they're right here. Here's one of them. Here's another one. Of course, you got your tow connection. There's a bolt you can put in there when you're towing it. Oh, one cool thing, another cool thing that's about this car is that this is an actual intake. That's why the M3s do not have a fog light. This is an air intake to cool the brakes. One of my favorite features of this car is, of course, the bump on the hood, and that's to fit the V8 engine. I don't remember correctly if this model necessarily needs the bulge, but the previous model actually needed the bulge to fit the V8 in, and that's just been a key feature. Now they no longer need it, but that's just a key feature of the M3s. What else? And then of course you got the quad exhaust in the back, which I love. I love the look of this. I love the look of all angles of this car, to be honest. There's not one angle that I don't like. Got the backup camera as well on this model. You do have climate, you know, 2 vents back here, along with, I guess this, I think it's an ashtray or just a little compartment. Pretty tiny. I don't think it's necessary. Not sure what you're gonna put in there. You do have 2 cup holders, which is nice, I guess. If anybody sits back here, you got 2 cup holders, and then you got another storage compartment, which I don't think any of these 2 compartments have ever been used. You do have, I think this is for skis. I think that's what they call it, because you can put the bag down in the trunk and, you know, fit a pair of skis in here. And there is also a bag which I think the skis go in, and which here in Texas they won't be used. Also, you can put the seat down, and then like I said, that's that hole for the skis, or you know, anything that you need to put in the back of the trunk that's long, that doesn't fit in the trunk, you can have it come out through this hole. I'm sweating like crazy. It's so hot right now in Houston. It's about, I don't know, 97 degrees. Probably feels like 105, so I'm sweating like crazy. But anyways, I'm gonna show you putting the top up in the car. And actually, let me do something first. I am gonna turn it on, so I should get a good sound quality of that. I'm gonna do a start up for the car. It's already warm, so it's not gonna be a cold start. Another thing that I really love about this car is the sound it makes. Man, this thing just sounds amazing. I love the way this car sounds. And I guess let me give you a little rev for you. So that's what the car sounds like. I love the way this engine sounds. And that's stock exhaust. So I love the way this car sounds. You know, that's one of the reasons when I bought it and drove it, it sounded amazing. So whatever you do not test drive a car with the top down, because you're gonna fall in love. Especially if it has a nice sounding exhaust and engine, you're gonna fall in love with it. That's exactly what happened to me. And that's all. I said that's all stock exhaust. And I did want to get a different exhaust on this car, but you know, I just never got around to it, and now it's time to sell it, so oh well. But anyways, I'm gonna put the top up on this car. So what you'll do is you'll just hold this button up and the top will start popping up. So you saw in the video before, at the very beginning, the top was kind of like glitchy, you know, hesitating. And I think because I was doing the remote, putting the top down through the key fob, and I was losing signal. And you got to be kind of close when you put the top down through the key fob. Otherwise, like I said, it's, you know, it's not going to have connection. But that's why it was kind of like glitching on that video. But yeah, that's the top up. When you do have the top up, or in a convertible, in this convertible, the car, you know, it doesn't make any noises when you have the top down. But when you do have the top up on this car, and that's one thing I found out after the fact, was there's a lot of creaking and rattling noises you'll hear. A lot of it is because the car is flexing. You know, this car is not as stiff as a coupe or four-door because of the convertible. So you do hear a lot of flexing, a lot of cracking noises, creaking, especially like when you hit a pothole or something. Not a pothole, but you know, when there's variations in the road, and you know, there's small bumps here and there. Yeah, you do hear some noise. It's a little bit loud in here. And another thing is when you're going into a driveway, you know, an uneven driveway, to, you know, where you're kind of flexing the suspension a little bit, that's when you really hear a lot of creaking in the car, you know, because the car is really flexing a lot. So there's a lot of moving parts, and you will hear that a lot in a convertible BMW. Oh, I forgot to talk about one thing. Another thing that the previous owner installed on this car is a front camera, which comes very helpful because the front bumper is pretty low, and so in order not to scratch it on parking curbs, this is very helpful. And there's a toggle switch so you can turn it off and on. And it's funny, the button's down here. I don't know if you can see, here's the button. And I had no idea about this. I had no idea about this button. So what happened was my knee hit the button for the camera, and I saw the camera turn on. And I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. I didn't know I had a front camera. So I went back to the dealership and I was like, hey, how do you turn on and off the front camera? They said, your car doesn't have a front camera. I was like, yes, it does. I turned it on somehow, I don't know, but I saw the car in front of me. And I was like, I didn't know how I did it. So I went and asked him, hey, how do you turn the front camera on? I couldn't find anything on YouTube or Google or anything. He's like, oh, it doesn't have one. I was like, yeah, it does. You know, here's the front camera. I found it, and I've turned it on accident. And that's when I don't know what happened again. I guess I hit my knee. I guess I hit my knee on the button again. I was like, oh, that kind of hurt. And I started feeling down there. I was like, oh, look, there's a button. So I pushed it. I was like, oh, that's how you turn on the front camera. So that was pretty interesting to find on the car, just by accident. And glad I did, because it's very helpful. It's very useful when it comes to parking. I guess another button I like a lot is this button. What this button does is it opens and closes all the windows at once, so you don't have to do them individually. Very helpful, very useful. I use this button a lot. I guess another thing about this car is that when you do have the windows down, there is no middle pillar. What do they call it? Maybe a B pillar, I don't know what it's called, but that's one thing I really like. When you have the windows down, it has a pretty clean look on the car without that pillar in the middle. I guess another pretty cool thing is on this car is that the red line actually moves. You can see there's like an orange line as well. This orange line will start about 6,500, and as the car warms up, it'll move to where it's at right now. And there's also, you got some, you can't see right now, but there's those dots on top, and those light up. So when you have it in M mode and you're flooring it and you're getting close to the red line, those lights will light up to kind of help you indicate when you need to switch gears. Here's the key fob, just so you know what it looks like. You got unlock, lock, and then the trunk open. And then to open the top, you just hold the unlock button for like 5 seconds or so, and it'll put the windows halfway down and put the top down as well. So here is the trunk. You got to put this down in order to put the top down. I guess it's kind of like a safety feature to make sure there's nothing in the way blocking the top as it goes into the trunk. But you can see that the trunk space is pretty small. Here's my backpack. You might be able to fit 2 pieces of luggage in here with the top up. But other than that, there's not too much storage. I think the battery is on this side. Haven't looked into it yet because I haven't needed to look into it. This car does not have a spare tire. So there's a little bit of storage in here. I forget what's in here. The owner had changed out, I guess these are jumper cables, some jumper cables, and a couple other parts. I think the previous owner had changed out the pedals and some other things. The vents on the hood, they put some carbon fiber, I guess, features on there. So not much in there. And here is where you have should be a spare tire, but instead you have a pump. Pretty nice air compressor to be as a matter of fact. I have used it on a bicycle wheel, and it's pretty powerful, quick, and I guess a good quality air compressor. Also, there's a can here which you hook up the air compressor to, and there's like some sort of slime in here that when you hook up the air compressor, it'll fill the tire up and might patch up any small hole that you have. I mean, obviously if you have a slash in the tire, it will not fix that, but it may get you have your tire filled up for a little while so you can get somewhere to have it fixed properly. What else is in here? I guess here's the that tow hook that you can hook up to the front of the car if you need to get it towed. Where's it at? Here it is. I've never needed to use it, thankfully. One day I might have to, but as of now I have not had to use that part to get towed. I know that's inevitable with BMWs. One day I will need that, and I hope it's not today. But yeah, anyways, this car has been amazing. I love this car so much. That's why I'm sad to say goodbye to it. That is my BMW M3. I'm gonna be so sad to see it go. I'm truly gonna miss this car, and I don't know, I may buy another one further down the line. This car is truly amazing, super powerful, so much fun to drive, but it's time to move on. And I got the truck now. That's my new baby. I've been spending a lot of time with it, and I want to do a lot with it. I want to buy a lot of parts for it. I want to get bumper, front bumper, rear bumper, rock sliders, and all that. So I'm just not using the car as much as I want to anymore. That's because I have the Tacoma now. So I think it's time to move on, let somebody else enjoy this car, so it's not just sitting there wasting away. These cars need to be driven, and I don't want to just have it there sitting. So time to get rid of it. I've had my fun. Now it's time for someone else to have their fun. That's gonna be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoy my BMW M3. This car is amazing. I can't stop talking about it. I love talking about this car. I love driving it. I love just looking at it. I love taking pictures of it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And so yeah, that's gonna be it for now, and check y'all later.